Kevin Monroe was a simple man with a simple life. He worked at a software company in the city. He came home every evening to his small apartment. He watched movies on weekends. He ordered too much pizza. There was nothing special about him, and he liked it that way. His apartment was on the 4th floor of a building called Sunset Ridge. He had lived there for 3 years. He knew his neighbors well enough to say hello. There was an old couple in 4A who always smiled at him. There were college students in 4C who played loud music. And there was the woman in 4D. Her name was Zara. At least, that was the name she used. She had moved in about 6 months ago, and Kevin had noticed her right away. It was hard not to notice her. She was very tall, almost 6.5 feet. She had silver white hair that fell past her shoulders. Her eyes were a strange shade of violet that Kevin assumed came from contact lenses. Zara was odd. She kept strange hours. Kevin would hear her door open at 3 in the morning. He would see her walking in the hallway at dawn. She never seemed to carry groceries like normal people. He never smelled cooking from her apartment. And when she looked at you, really looked at you, there was something in her gaze that made you feel like she was seeing through you. Kevin had never spoken more than a few words to her. Hello. Good morning. Nice weather. That was it. The building manager had created a group chat for everyone on the 4th floor. That was how Kevin got Zara's phone number. He had saved it in his contacts but never used it. Why would he? They were just neighbors. On this particular Friday night, Kevin was not thinking about his strange neighbor. He was thinking about Megan. Megan worked in the accounting department at his company. She had brown hair and a warm smile. She laughed at his jokes, even the bad ones. Kevin had been thinking about asking her out for months, but he never found the courage. Tonight, he was at a bar with his best friend, Lucas. They sat at a corner table with beers in front of them. The bar was loud with music and conversation. Kevin had already finished 3 beers and was working on his 4th. Lucas leaned across the table. He was a big guy with a loud voice. He had been Kevin's friend since high school. He pointed a finger at Kevin's chest. You need to stop being a coward, Lucas said. Just ask her out. What is the worst thing that can happen? She says no, Kevin replied. Then I have to see her at work every day knowing she rejected me. So what? At least you tried. You have been talking about this girl for 6 months. Either do something or stop talking about her. Kevin took a long drink of his beer. Lucas was right. He knew Lucas was right. He was tired of being afraid. Fine, Kevin said. I will text her right now. That is what I'm talking about. Lucas slapped the table. Keep it simple. Tell her to come over. Watch a movie. Be casual. Kevin pulled out his phone. His vision was a little blurry from the alcohol, but he could manage. He opened his contacts and typed in M for Megan. He tapped on the first name that came up without really looking. He typed out the message. Hey, want to come to my place tonight? Could use some company. His thumb hovered over the send button. His heart was beating fast. This was it. He was finally doing it. He pressed send. The message went through. Kevin let out a breath he did not know he was holding. He looked at the screen, waiting for a response. Then his eyes focused on the name at the top of the conversation. It did not say Megan from accounting. It said Zara 4D. Kevin felt his stomach drop. The blood drained from his face. He stared at the phone like it had turned into a snake. No, he whispered. No. Lucas noticed the change in his expression. What happened? What is wrong? I texted the wrong person. Who did you text? My neighbor. The weird one from 4D. Lucas started to laugh, but he stopped when he saw Kevin's face. Okay, so just send another message. Tell her it was a mistake. Kevin was about to do exactly that when 3 dots appeared on his screen. Zara was typing a response. He watched those dots with growing dread. They pulsed for several seconds. Then the message came through. "I will arrive shortly." Kevin read the words 3 times. Something about them felt wrong. Not "I'll be there," or "on my way," or "sure thing." But "I will arrive shortly." It sounded formal. It sounded like an announcement. What did she say? Lucas asked. Kevin showed him the phone. Lucas squinted at the screen. "That is a weird way to say yes," Lucas said. "Maybe she is just formal. Some people text like that." "I need to go home," Kevin said. He stood up quickly, almost knocking over his beer. "I need to catch her before she gets there. I need to explain. Good luck, buddy." Kevin threw some money on the table and ran out of the bar. He found his car in the parking lot and drove home as fast as he legally could. His heart was pounding the whole way. This was embarrassing. This was so embarrassing. He would have to explain to Zora that it was an accident, and she would think he was an idiot. And he would have to avoid her in the hallway for the rest of his life. He parked at his building and took the stairs 2 at a time. He reached the 4th floor, breathing hard. The hallway was empty and quiet. He looked toward 4D. Zara's door was closed. Maybe she had not left yet. Maybe he could knock on her door and explain before she came over. Then he noticed something. His own door was open. Kevin stopped walking. He was sure he had locked it when he left. He always locked it. The door was open just a few inches, enough to see darkness inside. He approached slowly. His hand was shaking as he pushed the door open all the way. His apartment was dark, except for the light from the hallway. He reached for the light switch and flipped it on. Zara stood in the middle of his living room. She turned to face him, and Kevin's whole body went cold. Her smile was wrong. It was too wide, stretching across her face in a way that did not look human. It showed teeth that were too white, too sharp, too perfect. Her violet eyes seemed to glow faintly in the light. She stood perfectly still, like a statue, like something pretending to be a person. "Hello, Kevin," she said. Her voice was calm and smooth. "You invited me. I am here." Kevin could not move. He could not speak. He could not breathe. He just stood there, staring at the thing in his apartment that looked like his neighbor, but was clearly something else entirely. Zara tilted her head at an angle. That was just slightly too far. Her smile did not waver. "Are you not pleased?" she asked. "You sent the invitation. I accepted. This is the custom, is it not?" Kevin finally found his voice. It came out as a whisper. "What are you?" Zara's smile grew even wider, and Kevin realized with absolute certainty that his life would never be the same again. Kevin stood frozen in his doorway. His brain was trying to process what he was seeing, but nothing made sense. His neighbor was standing in his apartment with a smile that was too wide and eyes that were glowing. "How did you get in here?" he managed to ask. His voice was weak and scared. Zara looked at the door behind him. "Your lock is a simple mechanism. I did not wish to wait in the hallway where others might see. I assumed you would want privacy for this meeting." "What meeting?" "I sent that text by accident. I meant to text someone else." Zara tilted her head. The movement was strange, almost mechanical. "An accident? How interesting." Yet the message was sent. The invitation was made. "Among my people, such things cannot be ignored." "Your people?" Kevin stepped backward until his back hit the doorframe. "What do you mean, your people?" Zara's smile softened slightly. She raised her hands in a gesture that was meant to be calming. "Perhaps you should sit down, Kevin Monroe. What I am about to tell you will be difficult for you to accept." Kevin did not want to sit down. He wanted to run, but something kept him in place. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was the strange feeling that running would not help him anyway. He walked slowly to his couch and sat down. His legs felt weak. Zara remained standing, watching him with those violet eyes. "I am not human," she said. The words were simple and direct. "I am a member of a species called the Valorith. I come from a planet that is very far from Earth. I have been living among your kind for 2 of your years." Kevin stared at her. "You are telling me you are an alien. That is the word your people would use." "Yes, an alien who lives in apartment 4D, a convenient location for observation." Kevin let out a strange sound that was half laugh and half sob. "This is insane. I am dreaming. I had too much to drink, and now I am dreaming." Zara moved toward him. Her steps made no sound on the floor. She stopped in front of him and held out her hand. "Touch my skin. You will see that I am real." Kevin hesitated. Then, slowly, he reached out and touched her hand. Her skin was cool, almost cold, and smooth in a way that did not feel natural. There was no warmth, no pulse, nothing that felt human. He pulled his hand back quickly. "I am very real," Zara said. She moved to sit in the armchair across from him. Her movements were fluid, like water flowing. "And I am afraid your accidental message has created a complicated situation." "Complicated how?" Zara clasped her hands in her lap. "Among the Valorith, an invitation to one's personal dwelling carries great significance. It is the beginning of a courtship ritual. It cannot be refused or ignored. When you sent that message, I had no choice but to respond." Kevin felt his face turn red. "I was trying to ask out a girl from work. I did not mean to start an alien courtship. I understand that now. But the fact remains that first contact has occurred. You know what I am. This changes everything." "First contact? Like in the movies?" "Yes, though I suspect your movies do not accurately represent the reality." Zara leaned back in her chair. "I was not supposed to reveal myself. I was supposed to observe and report. Nothing more. But you have forced my hand, Kevin Monroe." Kevin's fear was slowly being replaced by something else. Confusion, mostly, but also a growing sense of absurdity. He was sitting in his apartment talking to an alien who lived next door. An alien he had accidentally invited over through a text message meant for someone else. "Okay," he said slowly. "Let us say I believe you. Let us say you really are an alien. Why are you here? Why are you watching us?" Zara's expression changed. The strange smile faded, replaced by something more serious. "My people have been observing Earth for a long time. Many generations. We have watched your species grow from small tribes to a global civilization. We have studied your technology, your culture, your behavior. Why? What do you want from us?" Zara was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was careful. "The galaxy is not empty, Kevin. There are many species, many civilizations. They are organized into what we call the Galactic Collective. New species are evaluated before they can join." "Evaluated?" "Judged." Zara's violet eyes met his. "Your species is being judged. The collective must decide if humanity is safe. If you are ready to know that you are not alone in the universe. If you should be allowed to continue on your current path." Kevin felt a chill run down his spine. "And if we fail this judgment?" Zara did not answer right away. That silence told Kevin everything he needed to know. "Not destruction," she finally said. "The collective does not destroy species. But containment is possible. Limits on your technology. Restrictions on your expansion. Guidance that you might call control." Kevin stood up. He could not sit still anymore. He walked to his window and looked out at the city lights below. Millions of people living their lives, going to work, raising families, watching television. They had no idea that something out there was watching them, judging them. "Why are we being judged?" he asked without turning around. "What did we do wrong?" It is not what you did wrong. It is what you are. Zara's voice came from behind him. Humans are aggressive, violent. In a very short time, you have developed weapons that can destroy your entire planet. You fight wars over land, over resources, over ideas. You hurt each other in ways that most species cannot understand. We are not all like that. No, you are not. That is what makes your species so confusing. Zara moved to stand beside him at the window. You are capable of terrible cruelty, but you are also capable of beautiful kindness. You destroy, and then you rebuild. You hate, and then you love. You are a paradox, Kevin Monroe. And paradoxes make the collective nervous. Kevin turned to look at her. Up close, he could see that her features were almost human, but not quite. Her eyes were too large. Her skin was too smooth. She was beautiful in a strange and unsettling way. What happens now? He asked. You report that some idiot human found out about you because of a wrong text message. Zara smiled again, and this time it was smaller, more natural. That is one option. My superiors would send a team to manage the situation. Your memories would be adjusted. You would wake up tomorrow and remember nothing. They can do that? Yes, it is standard procedure. Zara paused. But there is another option. What? Zara turned to face him fully. You could help me, Kevin Monroe. You could show me the best of your species. Help me understand why humans deserve to survive. Why you should be welcomed into the collective instead of contained. Kevin let out a breath. You want me to convince you that humanity is worth saving? I want you to show me. Words are easy. Actions are not. Zara stepped closer. Show me why your species is special. Show me the good things that humans can do. Give me evidence that I can bring to the collective. Help me argue in your favor. Kevin looked at this alien creature who had been hiding next door to him for months. She was asking him to represent all of humanity, to prove that his species was worth something. The pressure of that responsibility was crushing, but somewhere inside him, a small spark of defiance lit up. He was just a normal guy who worked at a software company and ordered too much pizza. He was nobody special, but he was human. And if someone was going to judge humanity, then maybe a regular person was exactly the right representative. Okay, he said. I will do it. But first, we are ordering pizza. I am not saving the world on an empty stomach. Zara tilted her head. Pizza? You have been living on Earth for 2 years, and you have never had pizza? I do not require food in the way humans do. Kevin walked toward his kitchen to find a menu. Well, that is about to change. If I am going to teach you about humanity, we are starting with the important things. For the first time, Zara's smile looked genuinely curious. I look forward to learning, she said. Kevin grabbed his phone. Careful this time to check the contact before sending any messages. And ordered the pizza that would begin humanity's strangest first contact in history. The pizza arrived 30 minutes later. Kevin paid the delivery guy and brought the box to his coffee table. Zara watched the whole process with intense interest, like a scientist observing a lab experiment. This is considered food? She asked, looking at the pizza box. This is considered the best food. Kevin opened the box, and the smell of cheese and pepperoni filled the room. Try a slice. Zara picked up a slice carefully. She studied it from different angles, sniffed it, and then took a small bite. Kevin watched her face for a reaction. She chewed slowly. Her expression was difficult to read. Then her eyes widened slightly. This is acceptable, she said. Acceptable? Kevin laughed. That is the best thing on earth, and you call it acceptable? I do not require food, but this creates pleasant sensations. Zara took another bite. I understand now why humans consume this often. They sat together eating pizza, and Kevin realized how strange his life had become. 2 hours ago, he was at a bar trying to find the courage to text a coworker. Now he was sharing dinner with an alien who would decide the fate of humanity. So how does this work? Kevin asked between bites. How do I prove that humans are worth saving? Zara finished her slice and wiped her hands carefully. You show me your species. Take me places. Introduce me to people. Let me observe humans in their natural settings. And you will decide based on that? I will gather evidence. I will make a report. The final decision belongs to the collective, but my recommendation will carry weight. I have spent more time among humans than most observers. Kevin thought about this. What could he show her? He was not rich or famous. He did not know any world leaders or scientists or heroes. He was just a regular person with a regular life. But maybe that was the point. Maybe humanity was not about the famous people. Maybe it was about the regular ones. Okay, he said. I have an idea. But it will have to wait until Sunday. What happens on Sunday? We visit my grandmother. Zara tilted her head in that way she had. Your grandmother? Why? Because she is the best person I know. And if you want to understand humans, you need to meet her. Sunday came quickly. Kevin picked up Zara from her apartment and drove her to the suburbs where his grandmother lived. Zara wore normal human clothes that Kevin had helped her choose. She almost looked like a regular person, except for her height and her strange eyes. Nana Ruth lived in a small house with a big garden. She was 78 years old, and she had more energy than Kevin did. She cooked for everyone, talked to everyone, and treated every person she met like family. When Kevin knocked on the door, Nana Ruth opened it with a huge smile. She was a small woman with white hair and warm brown eyes. Kevin, my sweet boy, she said, pulling him into a hug. Then she looked at Zara with curiosity. And who is this? You did not tell me you were bringing a friend. Nana, this is Zara. She is my neighbor. Nana Ruth studied Zara for a moment. Then she smiled and opened her arms. Come here, dear. Any friend of Kevin is family. Kevin watched as his grandmother hugged an alien from another planet. Zara looked surprised by the contact. She stood stiffly for a moment, then slowly relaxed into the embrace. You are very tall, Nana Ruth said, looking up at Zara. And such beautiful eyes. Are those contacts? Something like that, Kevin answered quickly. Well, come in, come in. Dinner is almost ready. I hope you are hungry, because I made pot roast. The next few hours were unlike anything Kevin could have planned. Nana Ruth fed them enormous amounts of food, ignoring all protests. She showed Zara every photo album from Kevin's childhood, explaining each picture in detail. She told stories about Kevin's parents, about her late husband, about the neighborhood and its history. Zara listened to everything with careful attention. She asked questions. She studied the photos. She ate 3 servings of pot roast, because Nana Ruth insisted. At one point, Nana Ruth took Zara's hand in her own. You seem like a nice young woman, she said. Are you and Kevin dating? Kevin choked on his drink. Nana, no. We are just neighbors. Nana Ruth gave Zara a knowing look. Well, if you ever need anything, you come to me. I mean it. My door is always open. Later, as Kevin drove Zara home, she was quiet for a long time. The streetlights passed over her face as they traveled through the dark. Your grandmother is remarkable, she finally said. I told you. She has no reason to be kind to me. I am a stranger. She knows nothing about me. Yet she treated me as if I belonged in her family. She gave me food. She shared her memories. She offered help without asking for anything in return. Kevin smiled. That is just how she is. That is how a lot of people are, not among my species. Zara turned to look at him. The Valoroth do not waste resources on strangers. We help those who can help us in return. Your grandmother's behavior makes no logical sense. It is not about logic. It is about kindness. About caring for other people because it is the right thing to do. Zara was silent again. Kevin could tell she was processing this information, fitting it into her understanding of humanity. Over the next few weeks, Kevin continued his mission. He took Zara to different places and showed her different aspects of human life. He took her to a children's hospital where his friend Danny worked as a nurse. They watched doctors and nurses spend hours with sick children, making them laugh, playing games with them, holding their hands. A little girl with no hair from her treatment drew Zara a picture of a purple flower. "This child is very sick," Zara said quietly as they left. "I can sense the damage in her body. She does not have much time left. Yet she used her limited energy to create something for me. A stranger she will never see again." "Kids are like that," Kevin said. "They give without thinking about what they will get back." He took her to a soup kitchen downtown where volunteers served food to homeless people. He took her to a fire station where firefighters explained how they ran into burning buildings to save strangers. He took her to an animal shelter where people spent their free time caring for abandoned pets. Everywhere they went, Zara observed. She asked questions. She took mental notes, but Kevin also showed her the other side. He showed her news reports about wars and violence. He showed her videos of people hurting each other. He showed her the pollution and the destruction and the hatred. "I am not going to hide the bad stuff," Kevin told her. "You would find out eventually. We are not perfect. We do terrible things to each other. We always have." "Yet you show me this openly," Zara said. "You do not try to pretend your species is better than it is. What is the point? If you are judging us, you should see the whole picture, the good and the bad." Zara studied him with those violet eyes. Most species would try to hide their flaws. They would show only their best qualities. Maybe, but that would not be honest. And if humanity is going to survive or fail, it should be based on truth. Zara nodded slowly. Something in her expression changed, softened. "You are a strange species, Kevin Monroe. Confusing and contradictory and utterly fascinating." Kevin shrugged. "We try our best. Sometimes we succeed. Sometimes we fail. But we keep trying. Maybe that is what makes us human." Zara looked out the window at the city around them. Millions of humans living their lives, making choices, hurting each other, and helping each other in equal measure. "Perhaps," she said quietly, "that is exactly what the collective needs to understand." 6 weeks had passed since Kevin sent that accidental text message. 6 weeks of showing Zara what it meant to be human. 6 weeks of the strangest experience of his life. They had traveled to many places. Kevin used his vacation days from work to take her on small trips. They visited a national park where they watched families picnic and hikers help each other on difficult trails. They went to a small town where neighbors rebuilt a house after a fire destroyed it. They attended a concert where thousands of strangers sang together like one voice. Zara observed everything with intense focus. She asked questions constantly. Why do humans sing together? Why do they help strangers? Why do they cry at happy moments? Kevin answered as best he could, but some things were hard to explain. "You just feel it," he told her once. "You see someone in trouble and something inside you wants to help. You hear music and something inside you wants to move. It is not logical. It is just human." "The Valoroth do not feel in this way," Zara said. "Our emotions are controlled, measured. We do not act on impulse. That sounds lonely." Zara was quiet for a moment. "Perhaps it is. I had not considered it before." As the weeks passed, Kevin noticed something changing in Zara. Her smiles became more natural. Her movements became less mechanical. She started making jokes, though they were often strange and slightly wrong. She was learning to be more human, or at least to imitate humanity better. But she was also becoming more conflicted. Kevin could see it in her eyes when she thought he was not watching. She was struggling with something. One evening, they sat on Kevin's balcony watching the sunset. The sky was painted in shades of orange and pink. The city was quiet in that peaceful hour between day and night. "I need to tell you something," Zara said. Her voice was serious. "I have been in contact with my superiors." Kevin felt his stomach tighten. "What did they say?" "They are not happy. My observation period should have ended 2 weeks ago. I have been delaying my report, asking for more time. They are becoming suspicious. Why have you been delaying?" Zara turned to look at him. In the golden light of the sunset, her violet eyes seemed almost warm. "Because I am not sure what to tell them. The evidence is contradictory. Humans are violent and dangerous, but also kind and creative. You destroy your planet but also work to save it. You kill each other in wars, but also give your lives to save strangers. That is what I have been trying to show you. We are both things at once. Yes, and that is the problem." Zara stood and walked to the edge of the balcony. The collective does not like uncertainty. They prefer species that are predictable. Humans are not predictable. You are chaos wrapped in flesh. Kevin joined her at the railing. "Is that bad?" "It is dangerous. Unpredictable species are difficult to control. If humanity joins the collective, you could change everything. Your emotions, your creativity, your stubbornness. These things are infectious. Other species might be influenced by you. Would that be so terrible?" Zara smiled, but it was a sad smile. "Some members of the collective think so. They fear change. They have built a stable galaxy over millions of years. Humanity could disrupt that stability." Kevin thought about this. He thought about all the history he knew, all the wars and disasters and terrible things humans had done. But he also thought about the art and the music and the love and the courage. He thought about Nana Ruth feeding strangers. He thought about the sick little girl drawing pictures for people she would never see again. "Maybe the galaxy needs disrupting," he said. "Maybe stability is not the same as growth. Maybe you need a little chaos to make things better." Zara looked at him with an expression he could not read. "You believe this?" "I believe that humanity is flawed. We hurt each other, and we make mistakes, and we are often cruel. But we also grow. We learn. Every generation is a little better than the last. 100 years ago, we had slavery and child labor and no medicine. Now we are imperfect, but improving. Is that not worth something?" The collective does not think in terms of potential. They judge species by what they are, not what they might become. Kevin turned to face her directly. "Then maybe the collective is wrong. Maybe judging a species at one point in time is not fair. Maybe what matters is the direction they are moving." The sun had fully set now. The sky was darkening to purple, and the first stars were appearing. Zara looked up at them, at the distant lights that were suns and planets and homes to countless beings. "I need to make my decision tonight," she said. "I cannot delay any longer. They have given me an ultimatum." Kevin's heart was pounding. "What are you going to tell them?" Zara was silent for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. "I am going to tell them the truth. I am going to tell them that humans are dangerous and violent and unpredictable. That you fight each other over foolish things. That you are capable of tremendous destruction." Kevin felt his hope draining away. After everything, it had not been enough. But Zara continued. "I am also going to tell them that humans are brave and creative and kind. That you love each other fiercely. That you sacrifice yourselves for strangers. That you never stop trying to be better." She turned to face him, and Kevin saw something in her eyes that had not been there before. It was warm and vulnerable and almost human. I am going to tell them that if we try to contain humanity, we will make enemies of a species that could have been our greatest allies. That humans have something the collective has lost: passion, hope, the belief that tomorrow can be better than today. Kevin felt tears forming in his eyes. You are going to recommend we be accepted? I am going to recommend that Earth be welcomed into the collective as probationary members. There will be conditions, tests, challenges. You will need to prove yourselves over time. But the door will be open. Kevin did not know what to say. He did not have words for the relief and gratitude and hope flooding through him. Thank you, he managed. Thank you, Zara. Zara reached out and took his hand. Her skin was still cool, but the gesture was warm. Do not thank me yet. The collective may reject my recommendation. And even if they accept it, the path ahead will be difficult. Humanity will face many trials. We will face them. That is what we do. Zara squeezed his hand. I believe you. That is why I'm willing to stake my reputation on your species. On a race of creatures who eat pizza and hug strangers and draw flowers for aliens they just met. Kevin laughed through his tears. We are pretty weird. Yes, wonderfully, beautifully weird. They stood together on the balcony, an alien and a human, watching the stars that would soon be within reach. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Humanity had found an unexpected friend in the cosmos, all because of a wrong text message and a pizza. So what happens now? Kevin asked. Now I make my report. And then we wait. Will I see you again? Zara smiled, and this time it was purely human. I think so, Kevin Monroe. I think this is just the beginning. She let go of his hand and walked toward his door. But before she left, she turned back one more time. Thank you, she said, for showing me what humanity can be. For believing in your species even when it was hard. For the pizza? Kevin grinned. Anytime. And next time, I promise I will actually mean to text you. Zara laughed, a genuine human laugh, and disappeared into the night. 3 months had passed since Zara made her report. 3 months of waiting and wondering and hoping. Kevin had returned to his normal life, or at least tried to. He went to work. He ordered pizza. He visited Nana Ruth on Sundays. But nothing felt normal anymore. He knew the truth about the universe, and that knowledge changed everything. He had not seen Zara since that night on the balcony. Her apartment was empty. She had left without saying goodbye, and Kevin understood. She had duties and responsibilities that went beyond their strange friendship. But he missed her. He missed her strange way of speaking and her awkward attempts at humor and the way she tilted her head. When she was confused, he missed his friend. Lucas asked about her once. Whatever happened with that weird neighbor of yours? The one you accidentally texted? She moved away, Kevin said. It was not exactly a lie. Did you at least get a date out of it? Kevin laughed. Something like that. On a Tuesday evening in early spring, everything changed. Kevin was at home watching television when every channel suddenly switched to the same image. A breaking news alert. He sat up straight as the anchor spoke with barely contained excitement. We are receiving reports of unknown objects in the sky over major cities worldwide. These objects appear to be structured and are descending slowly through the atmosphere. We have no official statement from any government, but witnesses are describing what can only be called spacecraft. Kevin's heart nearly stopped. He ran to his window and looked up at the sky. There, above the city, was a massive ship. It was silver and smooth, shaped like nothing humans had ever built. It hung in the air without making any sound, glowing faintly in the evening light. Similar ships were appearing on every news channel, over New York and London and Tokyo and Cairo. The collective had come. For the next 24 hours, the world held its breath. Nobody knew what to expect. Some people panicked. Some prayed. Some celebrated. The internet exploded with theories and fears and hopes. Then, at exactly noon Greenwich Mean Time, every screen on the planet displayed the same message. People of Earth, we come in peace. We invite your representatives to meet with us. The location given was the United Nations headquarters in New York City. World leaders rushed to the meeting. Cameras captured everything as a delegation of tall, silver-haired beings descended from the sky and walked into the building. Kevin watched from his apartment, barely breathing. The next few hours were a blur of speeches and questions and historic moments. But Kevin was not listening to the diplomats or the reporters. He was looking at one figure standing at the edge of the alien delegation. Zara. She was dressed in formal clothing that seemed to shift colors in the light. She stood straight and tall, looking every bit the important diplomat. But at one moment, her eyes flickered toward a specific camera, and Kevin could have sworn she was looking directly at him. The announcement came at sunset. The Secretary General of the United Nations stood at a podium, flanked by human and alien dignitaries. After extensive discussions with our visitors from the Galactic Collective, we are pleased to announce that Earth has been invited to join as probationary members of the interstellar community. This is a new chapter in human history. The world erupted. Celebrations filled every city. People danced in the streets. Strangers hugged each other. It was chaos and joy and hope all mixed together. Kevin sat alone in his apartment, tears streaming down his face. Later that night, long after the celebrations had died down, there was a knock at his door. He opened it to find Zara standing in the hallway. She was still wearing her diplomatic clothing, but she looked tired. There were lines around her eyes that had not been there before. "Hello, Kevin Monroe?" she said. Kevin did not say anything. He just pulled her into a hug, the way Nana Ruth would have done. Zara stiffened for a moment, then relaxed into the embrace. "I watched it all on television," Kevin said when they finally pulled apart. "You did it. You convinced them. We did it. Your species did it." Zara walked into his apartment and looked around, as if remembering old times. The collective was skeptical at first. They argued for weeks. But in the end, the evidence was too strong to ignore. "What evidence?" "The pizza?" Zara smiled. "I brought samples back with me." It became extremely popular. Several council members changed their votes after trying it. Kevin laughed. "You are joking." "Only partially. The pizza helped, but it was everything else that mattered. The stories I told, the recordings I showed, the proof that humans are capable of growth and change and love." Kevin sat down on his couch. It was the same spot where he had sat that first night, terrified and confused. Now he felt something completely different. Pride, wonder, hope. "So what happens now?" he asked. "We are part of the collective." "What does that mean?" Zara sat in her usual chair across from him. "It means everything changes. Slowly at first. There will be exchanges of knowledge and culture. Your scientists will learn things that will advance your civilization by centuries. Your artists will share their work with beings across the galaxy. Your pizza makers will become very wealthy." Kevin smiled, but then his expression became serious. "What about you? What will you do now?" Zara met his eyes. "That is actually why I am here. I have been offered a new position. Cultural ambassador to Earth. I would be the primary link between the collective and your species." "That is amazing, Zara. Congratulations." "Thank you. But there is more." She leaned forward slightly. "I am allowed to select assistants. Humans who can help bridge the gap between our cultures, who understand both species." Kevin's heart began to beat faster. Are you asking what I think you are asking? I am asking if you would consider the position. You have already proven yourself more capable than any human I know. You showed me your species at its best and worst. You convinced me to believe in humanity. Perhaps you can help convince others. Kevin stared at her. 3 months ago, he had been a nobody who worked at a software company. Now he was being asked to help represent humanity to alien civilizations. Do I get a spaceship? He asked. Zara tilted her head. Eventually, yes. Travel between worlds will become available to ambassador staff. Do I get to visit other planets? That is part of the job, yes. Kevin pretended to think about it for exactly 3 seconds. Then yes. Absolutely yes. When do I start? Zara's smile was warm and genuine. There is time. First, I would like to visit your grandmother. I have thought about her pot roast often over the past months. The memory helped sustain me during difficult negotiations. Kevin laughed and stood up. Nana Ruth will be so happy to see you. She has been asking about you every Sunday. She kept saying she knew there was something special about you. Your grandmother is perceptive. She always has been. They walked to the door together, ready to begin this new chapter. But Kevin stopped before opening it. Zara, can I ask you something? Of course. That first night, when you came to my apartment with that terrifying smile, were you trying to scare me? Zara looked slightly embarrassed. I was attempting to smile in a friendly human manner. I had studied your expressions, but had not practiced enough. I apologize if it was disturbing. Kevin shook his head in amazement. So you were trying to be nice? Yes, I was nervous about the contact. I wanted to make a good impression. You know what? You did. In the weirdest possible way, you did. They walked out into the hallway. The same hallway where this strange adventure had begun. Kevin looked at the door to apartment 4D, which would presumably become Zara's home again. Hey, Zara? Yes? I am glad I sent that wrong text message. It was the best mistake I ever made. Zara smiled, and this time there was nothing terrifying about it at all. I am glad too, Kevin Monroe. More than you will ever know. They stepped into the elevator together, an alien diplomat and an accidental human ambassador, ready to introduce the universe to pot roast and pizza, and all the strange and beautiful things that made humanity worth saving. And somewhere in the stars, the Galactic Collective watched and waited to see what these remarkable, frustrating, wonderful humans would do next. Whatever it was certain to be unpredictable. That was, after all, what made them human.